Sun. Starring Fred McMurray.
I think this was like running in reruns when I was a tot. I would have to guess My Three Sons is a mid-'60s era program, but I think I caught it like in the early 70s when I barely could remember a thing. Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Boy, television back then was beyond predictable. It was just simple. And then I guess in the 60s and 70s, it evolved into slightly more complex, a little deeper, dramas, comedies, all kind of stuff. But the outcome, especially of a 30-minute long television program or even the hour program, you knew who was going to die, who was going to stay alive. It was easily predictable. It was a joke. And then, I don't know, maybe Hill Street Blues era, somewhere in the early 80s, a little HBO doing their own programming, television, the writing, the predictability of the storylines changed dramatically. I remember watching some TV shows going, wow, that is not the outcome that I thought at all. Holy smokes, it's that guy? That guy's innocent and that's the guilty guy? Not in the olden days television. Anyway, Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you right. Anybody that appreciates television sort of as like an art form and is 55, 60 plus, you've pretty much lived through the entire, I mean, you folks that are 65, 70 plus, you've lived like through the entire, era of television, basically, the important era. I mean, the beginning, there were very few programs, very few shows, very few hours of broadcasting. And then it grew and grew and grew. Anyway, no, TV, what an important part of so many people's lives. And it's interesting when you find the person that sort of either naturally doesn't like TV or proactively avoids the television. Now, I am pro TV. I love it. Grew up around it, multiple TVs in the house, every room in the house, raised in like a TV type family. But I don't know, you bump into the person that doesn't watch it naturally. I never turn on the television. It's very, very rare. Might pick up some Lebanon's Cafe lunch and bring it home and drop down on the coffee table in the den and pop on the TV while I'm eating my lunch. Maybe, sometimes. But rarely does my television come on before 6. There has to be some breaking news story. There has to be some big event. I've got to go to CNN or Fox or MSNBC or check out ABC, NBC, CBS, whatever. I don't like turning on the TV before 6 because it's crack cocaine. It is a distraction. It can be an addiction. You can get locked into something that's worthless it could be 2 minutes and you're like, my God, how did I get suckered into it for that? For 2 minutes, 20 minutes, 2 hours. It's dangerous. The old television set. Yeah, rarely before 6 do I turn it on. I hope you turn your TV on around 4 p.m. If you have some kind of restriction or rules. I hope you get it on by 4 p.m. because that's when we crank up the program every weekday, Monday through Friday. 2 big hours on the radio. The first 90 minutes of that 2-hour talk radio program simulcast on TV. That means we're live on the radio. We're live on television. Corey Johnson with you on Oh So Fine, 93.9 FM, 93.9. New Orleans' own 107.9 FM, 107.9 FM. 600 AM will take you from Baton Rouge to Pensacola, Florida. 600 AM. CoreyTalks.com, our website where you can do live streaming, audio, video, live streaming, CoreyTalks.com. We are on YouTube, our YouTube channel. Click to subscribe to it. Go to that search bar on YouTube. The Neutral Ground, Corey Johnson. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It doesn't cost anything. Yeah, you right. Thursday afternoon. Boy, I don't know. If you have to do anything outside, I recommend like 6 a.m. to 9:30, 10 a.m. and maybe 5:30, 6 o'clock to 8:30 and kind of avoid the middle chunk of the day. I know that's impossible for a lot of working folks. But it's hot, like when you wake up at 6, 7, 8 a.m., you're going to be sweating. By like 9 a.m., it just really rolls in. And for about 8 straight hours, it's pretty damn harsh. Remember to drink the agua, lots of water, H2O. Stay hydrated. It's just hot out there, and it's going to be hot out there till October. Hey, coming up in a few minutes, Ghassan Korban is going to join us, the director of the Sewage and Water Board, going to get his take on the state playing goofy political games. Can you believe the legislature cut the funding on the power station that the Sewage and Water Board is building right there on the parish line, Claiborne and Monticello, right there next to the Salvation Army store by the big tanks on Claiborne's? Absolutely insane. Work obviously is continuing, but at what scale, what level, what speed? Ghassan Korban, Director, Sewage and Water Board, will join us in less than 10 minutes. In about 20 minutes, you don't want to miss this. Raphael Goyeneche again from the Metropolitan Crime Commission. Why? Even with the feds, with the consent decree, with the federal monitor saying the Vappie investigation was tainted from the beginning, the mayor not only accepts the PIB's findings, Public Integrity Bureau's findings, the police, the NOPD's findings on Vappie, but they reinstate Officer Vappie, and get this, they reinstate Officer Vappie to Mayor LaToya Cantrell's security detail. You can't make this crap up. It's just mind-blowing, mind-boggling. It makes my job easier. I'm just like, my God, you do a talk radio program in New Orleans, kaboom, there's your topic. Back on the executive security detail, the mayor defends this move. Yeah, I'm getting Raphael Goyeneche on the program to discuss this. That's around 4:35. In the 5 o'clock power hour, Glenn Guilbeau from Outkick.com will join us. The NCAA puts LSU football and basketball on 3 years probation. What does it mean? Football team vacating wins. 37 of them from 2012 to 2015, the end of the Les Miles era, middle end. Glenn Guilbeau will join us to fill us in on the NCAA's ruling, finally on LSU football and basketball. And speaking of LSU baseball, nice win last night to stay alive, knocking off Wake Forest 5-2. LSU for the 4th night in a row. What a fantastic week if you're an LSU fan. Nobody wanted to go into the losers bracket if you're an LSU fan. But you get Tennessee on Monday night. Let's see what was Monday night? Monday night was LSU Wake Forest, where they lost to go in the losers bracket, excuse me. So Monday night was LSU Wake Forest. Tuesday night, LSU stays alive, beating Tennessee. Last night, LSU beats Wake Forest. Now they'll take on the Demon Deacons for the 3rd time in the tournament. They're 1-1. Wake, the number 1 seed, 2nd night in a row, taking on Wake Forest. 3rd game in 4 days. It's almost like a series, for crying out loud. It's an elimination game. Last night wasn't an elimination game, only for LSU, not Wake Forest. Tonight's an elimination game. The loser goes home. They're done. The winner goes to this weekend's championship round, best 2 out of 3 for the national title versus Florida. It could be an all SEC titles game. Gotta like that. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday afternoon. Yeah, you right. Pels NBA draft tonight. Pels draft 14th if things stay where they are. San Antonio with the first overall pick. Hey, if you are tired of your dry cleaner, and I know a lot of you are, you pull a shirt out, you put it on, a button's missing, the collar's not right, you can't wear it, have to bring it back. Why don't you experience the best dry cleaner, Young's Dry Cleaning, since 1940, a New Orleans institution. YoungsDryCleaning.com. YoungsDryCleaning.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
That's what I said. That's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday afternoon. They're on Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn. They're open right now. They'll roll till 9:30. I picked up chicken shawarma, tabbouleh, a fried football kibbe. You know where I went for lunch today, Lebanon's Cafe. Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, under the green awning. Nice air-conditioned, cool, comfortable dining room. Great service, to-go orders. Lamb chop, shish kebab, all your Middle Eastern sides. Lebanon's Cafe, Carrollton at Jeanette in Uptown. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday afternoon. The state legislature in there, I don't know what kind of wisdom you would call it, pulling $100 plus million out of different projects sort of in retaliation. One of them was financing for the Sewage and Water Board power plant already under construction. Claiborne at Monticello, right at the parish line. Ghassan Korban joins us, Director, Sewage and Water Board. Ghassan, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Corey. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for joining us.
Of course.
I'm kind of stymied by this. The legislature defunds, not defends, defunds the Sewage and Water Board power plant that's under construction. Is that right?
So I wouldn't describe it as that, Corey, and I wouldn't use the word retaliation. I really don't pay attention to other politics outside, what concerns the Sewage and Water Board. That's what I was hired to do. And certainly we had a higher expectation regarding funding this year, and we got lesser amount, but we are certainly very grateful that we got what we got, and we can get into specifics if you'd like. And we are staying the course. As you stated, this is a project probably by far one of the most critical projects we're doing, and it's on course. It has started in earnest over 2 years ago. It's been moving steadily and moving forward. We're on track. I think it helps to know that the big picture here is that the project itself consists of a building of a substation that would be owned and operated by Entergy. That's fully funded. And we also have multiple parts or components that would allow us to use that substation to power many of our antiquated and old technology pumps that drain the old city and West Bank and other parts of the city. So the idea was, or the whole plan was predicated on receiving the entire amount and get the project fully executed by the very beginning, so I would say around July of 2025, to be ready for the 2025 hurricane season, with a brand new substation, static frequency changes that allow us to take the power from the substation and again power all the pumps that we need during an event, and also to power some of our drinking water pumps. So having said all that, we are taking the money that was allotted for us this year, meaning $15 million, and we're adjusting some of the work and the scope, but we are going to be able to utilize the substation for the 2025 hurricane season, but not to its fullest capacity. So that's the only change. So again, I don't want to bore your audience.
No, you're not boring us. Now, Ghassan, is it? You said it's going to be a lesser facility now. It's not going to be what was originally planned.
We're phasing it out a little bit. So the substation can produce 60 megawatts of power. And that's obviously by design. It has redundancy by itself, having power coming from different directions for redundancy purposes. So it's very solid, very reliable source of power for us, right? It will be the new source of power. And then we have 3 frequency changers, call them adapters, that will allow us that has 20 megawatts each. Okay, that allows the 60 hertz to go through those frequency changers and go from 60 to 25 hertz to allow us to use that power to drive the pumps that we need to, because they run on 25 hertz. Now, with the limited funding, we're only able to do one of the 3 frequency changers, meaning we are limited to what we can use the substation, or by how much, meaning by third.
And so originally it was going to be 3, and now it's 1?
Temporarily, until obviously we get future funding.
And then you can put the second and third online with future funding?
Absolutely.
But what was originally planned, the work crew, the schedule, it is changed now because of this defunding with the legislature, correct?
Well, I'm not going to call it defunding. I'm going to call it, I guess we had expected a larger amount, meaning 39 million, and we got 15. And I'm not questioning.
And Ghassan, I wasn't trying to pin you in a corner to question it. Honestly, I think this is the exact same thing as a year ago, which had nothing to do with you or the Sewage and Water Board or a direct retaliation against the Sewage and Water Board. If you remember, you were trying to get the funding a year ago, and the city's or defiance to the abortion ban. You had Jeff Landry retaliate, got the bond commission to slow down the bond process there for a minute. That wasn't like to retaliate against you guys. That was the city being defiant. I think it's the same thing. These are political games. You guys just got caught in the crosshairs. I don't think someone was coming after the Sewage and Water Board. I didn't want to insinuate that. But the facts are, you guys have had to scale back because the state's pulled back the funding, which is insane to me. But go on.
Again, my job is to deal with what I have, and we will make it work. Not ideal by any means, but we will have the substation fully constructed, and it's exciting to see how it's shaping up. I mean, if when you go and see it, you really start seeing the entire substation being built. It's very, very exciting.
Just from the street level, seeing those 4 major power poles go up the last few weeks was impressive.
Absolutely.
They're giant.
Visible. Yes. And so it's happening. It's exciting. Our turbine, who's going to be a backup to the substation, is being manufactured. It's on track. The frequency changers are, being manufactured. So they may be on site. We just will not have the money to connect them, to utilize them. So they just sit there until we are able to connect them. And, just a matter of another season maybe.
Right.
Where we have but in the meantime, obviously we continue to rely on one of the 2 older machines we have, which will ultimately decommission and just kind of, rest in peace, turbine 4 and turbine 5.
Now, real quick, Ghassan. So
we're a year out, basically.
How much is a brand new turbine from like General Electric or Siemens is state-of-the-art 2023 that would replace one of these turbines? How much does one of those cost?
So you're looking at roughly about $20 million, for the manufacturing, the delivery of
a brand new one. Okay.
Brand new one, but it's 20 plus megawatts.
All right. So to replace 5 turbines is $100 million?
Yes, but we won't need 5 with the substation in place. That was the idea, is shifting how we've been doing business in terms of power generation for years. It served us well, but now the time has come where now we have a substation that is solely purposed for the Sewage and Water Board. It's connected to transmission lines, and so not to the grid. So it's highly more durable.
You'll bypass the turbines when this is up and running?
Yeah, we will not need the turbines.
Okay, so the turbines will go away. Now the pumps, you mentioned there's still some pumps that run on old power?
Yes.
Now, how much is a brand new pump?
Oh my goodness, that's like phase 2 or 3, and we haven't really done the feasibility study and estimates, but we're talking, $500 million probably. I mean, don't quote me on it. In that scale.
So hundreds of millions of dollars for one pump?
No. To replace all the old technology pumps that we have. And they are by capacity constitute about 50% of the overall
pumping capacity.
Wow. Pumping capacity.
Wow. How many old pumps are we talking about, Ghassan?
I would say, again, the number escapes, but in the vicinity of 40.
Wow, amazing.
So we have a total of 99 drainage pumps.
Wow.
So I would say less than half that are, very, very good pumps that just run on that old technology, 25 hertz.
Yep.
And they've served us well. And then obviously phase 2, when the time comes, is we'll have the funding to not convert, but just refurbish or regut the insides, because the shells are totally fine, and then just put 60 hertz motors.
Right. Modernize the whole system.
And then we'll get rid of the frequency changers.
Yeah, and you'll be it's just regular power, regular pump, state of the art. Hey, Ghassan, I'm right up against it. I know you are too. I really appreciate you joining me. I always do. I love having you on the program.
I enjoy being on your program as well. So we'll talk later.
Sounds good. Ghassan Korban joins us from the Sewage and Water Board.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today, and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe, in the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you on a Thursday afternoon. In about 25 minutes, Fausto's Italian Bistro opens their doors for the evening. They'll go till 9 p.m. tonight. Tomorrow and Saturday night, they'll go till 10 p.m. Easy parking in front, great service. Sit at the bar, watch LSU baseball, get a to-go order, or dine in the dining room. Some of the city's best Sicilian and Italian. Tonight, make it Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. Raphael Goyeneche, sometimes it feels like he's the co-host of the program. We ask him to come join us so much because so much is going on. We need his help deciphering it, breaking it down. Raphael Goyeneche from the Metropolitan Crime Commission joins us again on the program. How you doing, Raphael?
I'm fine, Corey. But if you're having me on, there's usually something crazy happening as opposed to something good.
Yep.
So, yeah. I don't want to.
I think I can speak
your audience, but yeah, I'm usually talking about something that's a head-scratching bad event.
I think I can speak for you and say both of us would like to have to work a whole lot harder to find topics, that are part of our job. They're so easy. They just jump out at you every day, don't they?
Well, so the biggest frustration for me, it isn't so much crime and corruption. It is the impediments that are put in place by the political leaders and their failure to honor their commitment to protect and serve the people of the city and be public servants as opposed to self-servants. So frequently when I'm on, what I'm talking about are topics that confirm that some public officials have it backwards. They believe that the fact that they hold elective office, they have a warped sense of entitlement,
yep,
as opposed to embracing the concept of public service.
No, it's so well said. I'm in total agreement on that as well. We're visiting with Raphael Goyeneche from the Metropolitan Crime Commission. Hey, real quick, Raphael, I like doing this in the beginning instead of jamming it in at the end. First off, how can folks get on that email list at the Metropolitan Crime Commission where those email blasts alert that you guys send out a few times a week where they can receive those? And then also, what if someone sees something unsavory going on, some criminal activity? They have a neighbor that has a city contract and they know they're not fulfilling it, or something political, something criminal in the city that they could get in touch with you guys for help. How do folks go about doing that?
So the Crime Commission is 71 years old this year. And for the past 7 decades, the public recognizes the unique role that we play in this community. So if anybody wants to report ethical, administrative, or criminal wrongdoing, or if they want to receive our weekly crime trends emails that we send out to the public and to the media documenting how we're rating this week versus last week, last month, and over the last several years, they can do so on our website at no charge. We don't charge anyone to receive our emails or to report ethical, administrative, or criminal wrongdoing. You can do that by calling us at 504-524-3148, or you can go to our website to subscribe to our email blast that you referred to, or to make an anonymous referral to us involving some ethical, criminal, or administrative violation that they observe at metrocrime, all one word, metrocrime.org.
Hey, Raphael, the Federal Monitor, this consent decree with the NOPD, the Federal Monitor just a few weeks ago said that the Vappie investigation was tainted from the beginning, basically saying it's worthless. The mayor, even with the consent decree, the Federal Monitor saying the Vappie investigation is flawed, the mayor not only accepts PIB's findings, but reinstates Officer Vappie, but also reinstates Officer Vappie to her security team. He's back on the executive security team. The mayor defends this move, Raphael.
Right. So that's what I was alluding to in my opening comments. And I've been doing this for a while, and, I should be beyond being surprised, but even this somewhat surprised me and certainly disappointed me. I think that this is a classic example. Last week, a survey was released by the New Orleans Crime Coalition.
Yep.
And they measured the public's approval rating for the mayor of the city of New Orleans, and it was 30%. So today, as you just pointed out, that the mayor has issued a statement proclaiming to everybody that Officer Jeffrey Vappie has resumed his assignment to our executive protection team. And at this time last week, the police department released their disciplinary recommendations, essentially documenting that Officer Vappie had violated departmental rules and policies, that the investigation confirmed that he had violated department rules with respect to the performance of his duty and professionalism. So normally when something like that happens, contrary to the mayor's position, the individual that was found to have violated departmental rules doesn't get returned to their previous assignment, particularly in light of the fact that his violations dealing with professionalism were based on the hours that Officer Vappie spent outside of his regular tour of duty, which goes against his training and ethics as an executive protection team member.
Yep.
Furthermore, to confirm and verify those findings, the Internal Affairs Division or Public Integrity Division of the Police Department interviewed other members of the executive protection team. And those statements by those officers were leaked out by the city attorney's office, which is the mayor's attorney. And those two officers are on the executive protection team. So now the officers that gave statements against Officer Vappie, citing his lack of professionalism
by working with him again,
conduct with the mayor, are now put in a very toxic work environment dealing with Officer Vappie. So I would expect that those two members that gave statements to PIB criticizing Officer Vappie and the mayor will probably no longer be on that executive protection team.
Or would want to be on it.
Poor look. And really what the mayor needs to recognize is that members of that executive protection team don't work for her, they work for the police department. So their duty and their assignment is to provide for her protection. but they do not work for her. They work for the police department, and the department has rules and regulations that govern their conduct. Officer Vappie was found to have violated those rules, and he's put right back into the same environment without any additional training. There's been recommendations made to revamp the entire executive protection team with new rules and supervisors. None of that's in place. He's back where he got into trouble in the first place, and it's a poor look for the city of New Orleans, it's a poor look for the mayor, and it's a poor look for the New Orleans Police Department.
And the mayor would disagree with just about everything you said.
Well, I mean, you think she's listening?
I think indirectly, yes. I definitely think, I mean, honestly, you're asking me that question. I think the mayor knows exactly what Raphael Goyeneche thinks and says, especially if it's public. But I just think the mayor is defiant, is belligerent, has an entitlement mentality, simply does not care, Raphael. I think the mayor gets off on this a little bit. I think this is going to be a doozy. I'm going to Seoul. I can't wait to see what they say. I think she's got 3 years left. She's trying to take advantage of as much stuff as she can. What blows me away by this, I mean, I'm just a radio guy. There's rumors Vappie's under federal investigation. I mean, I would just stand clear of this guy, and she, no pun intended, embraces this guy. We got about 30 seconds.
Yep.
I don't know if there's a federal investigation
I agree
or
with
not.
Everything that you just said. And, I've been doing this long enough to recognize that, the mayor is who she is.
Yep.
And what we see is what we've gotten and what we're going to get during the rest of her term of office.
No, and I
it's
think
not going to change.
No, I think you need
to accelerate.
No, I mean, in life, human nature, it's hard to change. We need like something dramatic, a plane crash, a death, something almost like the mayor almost needs like a plane crash or something. And I'm not saying her. I mean, just something dramatic. I'm making a reference. She needs like a life-changing event to make her change. Because you're right, Raphael. This is repeated. She's not changing. Hey, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for joining us.
Anytime. Thank you, Corey.
That's Raphael Goyeneche from the Metropolitan Crime Commission. No, the mayor will never change. Never changing. Coming right back. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
That's what I said. That's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
The official afternoon talk show of the city of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground.
You can say anything you please about me, but don't say anything bad about Blue Boy.
Down, Blue Boy. Good buddy. So true. Never dog Blue Boy, pun intended. Love getting this guy on the program. He's with the Humane Society of Louisiana. They need your help. HumaneLA.org to donate. HumaneLA.org to donate. Helping cats and dogs, kittens and puppies. Helping Louisiana treat animals more humanely. Jeff Dorson, Humane Society of Louisiana, is with us for a few minutes this afternoon. What up, Jeff?
Well, thanks to you and your listeners, we reached our goal one more time during Humane May. We exceeded it by about $2,000. We always try to raise $10,000 during the month of May. Thanks to you, in a final late hour push, we reached about $12,000. So many thanks to you and your listeners. It makes a difference.
Oh no, you're the man, Jeff. I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
I really appreciate how you push it.
Well,
how you encourage and, let's educate, bring the awareness up.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to put it, because there's a lot of ignorance, and that's not necessarily a bad word. It just means not knowledgeable on that particular topic. And sadly, in Louisiana, we have a lot of ignorance when it comes to animals. People get animals and they'll have a dog and they don't go to the vet once or twice a year. They don't give it monthly heartworm medicine, which is a must if you have a dog. There's no way around it. It's not an option in Louisiana. It is a must. Once a month, heartworm medicine for a dog. And then, of course, the regular stuff, vaccinations and flea, tick medicine, all that kind of stuff. But proper diet, proper care, not chained up, all that kind of stuff. No, some people just don't know, sadly. And then you have people that know better and are just belligerent, Jeff. And Louisiana, sadly, is ground zero for all this crap.
Yep, we're neck and neck with Mississippi as far as pet care. We just don't seem to make the grade. Lots of room for improvement. And we're still getting calls. Dogs tied up in the sun, horses without shade, dogs in crates, dogs in parked cars. That won't last very long in this heat. Please, ladies and gentlemen, do not. Cars and dogs or cats don't go together.
No, they don't at all. They don't go at all. Not for a minute, not for 5 minutes, was just going in and out.
Right.
I left the air conditioning on, the car running. We see canine units with police where the AC goes off and the dog dies.
Yep.
And the car's designed for the AC to stay on. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
No, they're not. I don't know how people do it. I really don't.
I don't. I've confronted one just about 3 weeks ago. It wasn't this hot, but still a terrible idea. And of course, Walmart parking lot, I hear barking. I roll my eyes. Oh my God, not again. I'm by the car window. It's cracked. The dog is panting. There's a cop there. I say, if this goes on, I'm going to break the window, which the law allows. Thanks to then Senator Troy Carter, 2018. Passed a Good Samaritan law that applies to dogs in hot cars. Any animal in distress in a parked vehicle, you can take it upon yourself to break the window, remove the animal, and not face any criminal or civil liability. The owner strolls out, and I busted her. I can't tell you what I told her over the radio. I wasn't happy. And she just nonchalantly told me, her dog is fine.
Yep.
That's the stock response. It's inaccurate. The dog was panting and in distress.
Well, here's another problem, Jeff. I mean, that owner doesn't care about herself. So if the person doesn't care about themselves, it's going to be hard for them to care about the dog. It's just, no, you got your hands full, brother. In Evangeline Parish, you got your hands full. What? 11 dogs, little puppies, unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's typical. Without services, I wish these elected officials would get the calls we get. I don't know how to redirect them. I don't know how to have them understand the importance of animal control, having a physical place where people can place their animals when they can't care for them. And so I'm astounded. And we still didn't get any money from the state. Back to ground zero. I have a conference call with the chief of staff on Monday to see what strategy we use for next year, but a new administration. So I'm telling you, I don't always have successful things to talk about.
No, the state screwing you guys around. I mean, the $3 million, and then I don't know if it was planned or not, but then they raised it to 20-30 million, and we're going to do this in prisons and and all this, and get your hopes up, and then you get absolutely nothing. It's unbelievable. No, it's typical Louisiana. I just had Ghassan Korban on from the Sewage and Water Board. They defunded the pump project, the power station project for the Sewage and Water Board, just with political shenanigans and games.
Wow.
It's like, okay, you don't care about animals. You don't care if New Orleanians flood. It's just mind-blowing, all political BS. What about these Evangeline Parish dogs, the 11 dogs, and the cats? How can folks help?
Well, thank you. Donations. We need more volunteers. We had to stop what we were doing. So here's the background real quick. Lady calls. She's going into assisted living home. She can't bring all these pets. People have been dumping these animals on her dirt road for the last couple of years. She's up to 8 adults, 6 puppies. None of them have been vetted. One has a broken leg. You're looking at $5,000 or $6,000 right off the top. There's no shelter. There's no place to take these animals. And when we call the elected officials, the mayor, the parish president, it's a shrug of the shoulders. It's not their problem. So it's like, well, you're right, because they don't want it to be their problem. So we send a 2-man crew, put them up at a hotel, pull all the animals, bring them back to where we are, and we're out $5,000 or $6,000, and we need help. HumaneLA.org. That's one phone call throughout the whole week that we get these types of calls, because 30 parishes, there's no one to call for help when you have a injured stray or abandoned animal. It's getting worse too. So please join us. Volunteer, donate, become a monthly donor, donate your vehicle. We can use it all.
Uh-oh. You hear that guy, huh, Jeff?
I do. That means that my exit.
Mine too, but he's saying HumaneLA.org. Please donate right now, HumaneLA.org. Jeff, have a great weekend. See you next week.
Back at you. Thank you, Corey and D-Boy.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333
Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family-owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson.
Susan Spicer joining us in the program.
Even when they presented me the award, the people that I look up to the most, Frank was there and Donald Link was there. It does cause you to reflect back and think about your whole career.
Maybe the Stella Brennan Award says that to you, like I've arrived.
It certainly is kind of the ultimate honor when it comes to cooking and hospitality in New Orleans and the world.
New Orleans style talk gumbo, served daily.
Doesn't get much better than that, huh? Oh, no. Uh-oh.
Face the final frontier.
Yikes. It's melodramatic William Shatner.
These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission to explore.
I am a Star Trek fan. I'll land on an old episode and watch it.
To boldly
I like
go
the
where
movies,
no man
too.
has gone before.
With Captain Kirk and Picard. That one where Kirk and Picard were in the same one, pretty cool, where Captain Kirk died. His last words, oh my.
This is
Yeah, you, right. Crescent City and beyond. 1 hour till blast off. ESPN nationwide television audience. For the third time in 4 nights, LSU will play Wake Forest in college baseball. 4th night straight of college baseball for LSU. 6 o'clock, ESPN, rinse and repeat. They do it again in 1 hour, first pitch. It is an elimination game. The loser is done, goes home. The winner goes to the weekend's championship round. Best 2 out of 3 for the national title versus Florida. The Gators are already there. Locked and loaded. The winner of tonight's baseball game between 5th seed LSU, 1 seed Wake Forest will go to the championship round against Florida. It really has been a fantastic week. If you're an LSU sports fan, an LSU baseball fan, tough to beat this week. Now, you don't like going in the losers bracket on Monday with that loss to Wake Forest, but you play Tennessee on Tuesday, you win. You play Wake Forest again last night, you win. You play Wake Forest again tonight. It's 4 straight nights. It's just been fantastic. June, mid-June, heading towards the, dog days of summer. Waiting for Saints. NBA's in the rearview mirror. Really not much out there in South Louisiana. Major League Baseball's great, but we're not huge about it down here. Having LSU continuing their season, having LSU in Omaha, having LSU go into the losers bracket, but then play how they've been playing the last few nights. These elimination games, 3-0 now, or 2-0, excuse me, trying to get to 3-0, trying to get to the championship round after losing to Wake Forest on Monday night. No, just incredible. It's made the summer for a lot of folks. Glenn Guilbeau is going to join us in about 10 minutes to discuss that. But mostly, Glenn Guilbeau's joining us because the NCAA put LSU football and basketball on 3 years probation. We're going to find out what it means. They're vacating wins from 2012 to 2015 during the Les Miles era. 37 victories they're vacating. These penalties, one positive, LSU self-imposed penalties on themselves. Football, basketball, self-imposed penalties that they've been under for the last few seasons, plural. And the NCAA is aware of this, and I think it helped LSU where one thing they were worried about, especially when basketball and football were getting linked together, a lack of institutional control, which can just wreck an athletic program, wreck athletic teams at the level. That did not occur. But we're going to find out the exact deal from Glenn Guilbeau, Outkick.com. He's been covering LSU on and off for almost 40 years. Glenn Guilbeau, less than 10 minutes away. Find out what's going on there. Hey, the Pels NBA draft is tonight. So not only LSU, Wake Forest baseball, but the Pelicans selecting 14th if they stay where they are. San Antonio with the first overall pick in the draft. Wow. It doesn't stop with the mayor. Raphael Goyeneche even said he was surprised a little. Despite the federal monitor saying Officer Vappie's investigation by the Public Integrity Bureau of the NOPD was tainted from the beginning, coupled with the fact that federal monitor is key in the NOPD getting off the consent decree. The mayor just loves doubling down, and not in a good way. Even with the federal consent decree, even with what the federal monitor said, saying the Vappie investigation is flawed, the mayor not only accepts PIB's findings, but reinstates Officer Vappie and reinstates Officer Vappie to her security team. You can't make this up. Officer Vappie is back on the executive security team. The mayor defends this. I mean, I'm a talk radio show. This is the mayor. She can easily talk to a few bigwigs and find out, maybe not definitively, but a lot better than I can, most likely, if there's a federal investigation going on looking into Vappie. And then again, maybe she can't find out, and maybe I'd have a better chance of finding out. But those are the rumors. That's what I understand. And the mayor still embraces this guy. Pun intended, maybe? The federal monitor says the Vappie investigation tainted from the get-go, flawed from the get-go. The mayor ignores, reinstates Vappie, and then reinstates Vappie to her security team. Mind friggin' blowing. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday, the 5 o'clock powwow on this Thursday afternoon, brought to you by Friend and Company Fine Jewelers. Real diamonds, natural diamonds. I talk about it all the time with Friend and Company Fine Jewelers. Have you noticed some other jewelry stores in town have been picking up on the Real Diamonds line? Because it's true. Friend and Company, it's always been real natural diamonds, 1 billion years old, something special, something rare, something that appreciates in value. So many jewelry stores, diamond jewelry stores, these mega stores, some from out of town, some local, pushing diamonds, pushing diamonds, pushing diamonds. You want to know the problem? They're pushing 3-week-old man-made diamonds that are lab created. China is flooding the market with this junk. They're not 1 billion years old. They're not natural. They're not real diamonds. They're 3-week-old man-made diamonds created in a lab. They're not rare, and they depreciate in value quickly. This is a lifetime purchase for her. Diamonds. Diamond stud earrings, diamond tennis bracelet, diamond necklaces. New Orleanians that know Friend and Company Fine Jewelers when it comes to diamond engagement rings. Real diamonds, natural diamonds, 1 billion years old. Ken Friend would have it no other way. Friend and Company Fine Jewelers on Maple Street, in between Broadway and Carrollton. Friend and Company Fine Jewelers. 5 o'clock power hour, brought to you by Friend and Company Fine Jewelers. Yeah, the NCAA puts LSU football and basketball on 3 years probation. Glenn Guilbeau is going to join us in about 5 minutes and fill us in on exactly what that means. For football, LSU self-imposed penalties the last few years. The NCAA is accepting them. For basketball, essentially the same thing. I saw a city vehicle, a city truck. I'm assuming they were using Roundup. It was a hose, and they were spraying weeds on cracks on the sidewalk. And on one side, I was glad to see that. I remember going to Denver about a decade ago, and they had a crew out there picking weeds out of the sidewalk. I'm like, well, you'd never see that in New Orleans. The problem I have with it, and I'm not exaggerating, the amount of spray coming out of this hose, when I say 100 times more Roundup or weed killer than needed, I'm not exaggerating, like 100 times more than needed. Imagine a garden hose on full blast. And I guess this guy hits a button or pushes, holds down a clamp or something, it releases the fluid, the weed killer. It's coming out like a garden hose on full blast. So when I say using 100 times more than needed, I'm not exaggerating. Not double, not 10 times, 100 times, like more of it all over the sidewalk and curb in the street. It might have weeds for 6 inches, starts spraying about a foot in front, hits the weed, doesn't let up until past it. Just like, I'd say a half gallon of weed killer flowing out for that, 1 or 2 feet of weeds. Where an ounce or less would do. Roundup goes on the leaf, it kills the weed. The weed sucks in the Roundup through the leaves, goes to the roots, kills from inside. You don't have to flood the street with this cancer-causing agent. City of New Orleans has to do better than that. Oh, boy. Corey Johnson with you.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, hey, what can I do to give you a hand? He said, well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place. So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
That's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants, Leidenheimer French bread.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson with you in 45 minutes. A little bit after 6 o'clock on ESPN. Fourth night in a row, LSU baseball. Fourth night in a row. Incredible. For the third time in 4 nights, LSU Wake Forest. It is an elimination game. The winner goes to this weekend's championship round, best 2 out of 3 versus SEC team Florida. The Gators are already in there. The NCAA puts LSU football and basketball on 3 years probation. What does that mean? We brought in one of the best in the business, knows LSU. I don't know. I mean, you could say as well as anyone on the planet, because he's been following it before he started covering it, and he's been covering it for nearly 40 years on and off, mostly on. Glenn Guilbeau joins us from Outkick.com again on the program. How you doing, Glenn?
Good. How are you, man?
Good. Hey, how was Barnes & Noble the other day for you?
It was good. I was surprised, without Skip there, the rock star, we still did pretty good. Had some people from Rommel and my LSU days, and even St. Mary Magdalene showed up, so we did okay.
It was your book signing. Fill everybody in on the book. What's the title? What's it about?
Everything Matters in Baseball, the Skip Bertman story. It's been out for a year in August, and you can get it at the Barnes & Noble there on Veterans or Amazon.com or Acadianbooks.com. But good reading this time of year.
And at Barnes & Noble, folks, because I was there the other day with my mommy, picking up a book on flowers with her. You go to the checkout at Barnes & Noble, and there's like a display right there with maybe 10 different titles that they're kind of pushing, I guess, a little. And Glenn's book is right there, top of the box, right in the middle, right by the register where you check out. Easy. In and out of there in a minute, Glenn.
I tell you, that Barnes & Noble was hopping all day, man. It's a meeting place, it's a coffee shop and a library. It's good to see some bookstores still working. But every time I'm in there, it's pretty busy. I've been in there on weekdays a lot I write my stories in there sometimes from Saints camp. And but Saturday, man, it was packed.
Hey, Glenn, I bet you were in there when you were a child. I'll bet you. And you're thinking,
when I was a child, that was a bowling alley.
You're good, Glenn. Paradise Lanes.
Oh yeah, we had some field trips over there, man.
What was it? Paradise Lanes there, and wasn't there a bowling alley where Heritage Plaza is?
Yeah, way down Veterans.
Pelican Lanes? Pelican?
Bonneville. It was called Pelican Lanes.
Yeah,
exactly.
Pelican Lanes. Wow. Unreal. Nice. Glenn Guilbeau's with us. Glenn, LSU, the NCAA finally comes down with their decision on football and basketball. 3 years probation. What does it mean for the layman, for the average LSU fan? I mean, it seems to me, especially for football, the self-imposed penalties, the NCAA has accepted those.
Yeah, it's like a plea bargain in a trial. You know, LSU took a bowl ban in 2020. They could have gone to a bowl that year. They already gave up some scholarships, and they gave up 37 wins. That came out today between 2012 and 2015. So
Was
I
that
think that helps the football program as well.
Was that the Vidal Alexander thing?
Yeah, 37 wins, and those will come off of the official record, though. You know, they usually put the record at the time, and then they put what it is with the forfeitures. But it also means that Les Miles will not be eligible for the Hall of Fame with vacated victories like that. But
wow!
So they sacrificed that to get fewer penalties, and really, Will Wade got off really easy too. He's got 2 years at McNeese of a show cause, so that means he just got recruiting visits cut down, so he can only recruit on campus.
He was going to sit the first 5 games. The NCAA said you have to sit the first 10. What does the show cause mean?
The show cause means that a coach who was guilty of NCAA violations, the penalty is switched to the new school he goes to if he gets a job. So he got a job at McNeese while LSU was still under investigation. So the penalties follow him. So he can't recruit off campus for McNeese, and he suspended those first 10 games. But that's still really minor.
So LSU football, Brian Kelly knew exactly pretty much what was going on, knew the limitations he had to deal with. The NCAA's decision today doesn't change anything with what Brian Kelly's been dealing with or will deal with, correct?
Right. He's already dealt with it. You know, the roster limitations he inherited, but that was mainly because the team got so bad. And, but there were some scholarship limitations, put in there. So it's basically nothing for him.
And basketball, same situation. They've already kind of, self-imposed penalties. They've already done them.
Well, basketball didn't self-impose penalties, but I mean, the fact that they fired Will Wade immediately after the notice of allegations came out last year.
Yep.
That was like a plea bargain. When you fire the coach involved immediately, it helps your school's case.
Yeah, you're gaining some credit.
That's what happened.
Yep.
Yeah, if they'd have kept him, it probably would have been worse. But Woodward never wanted to keep him. He was ever since the original story came out in 2017 by Yahoo about the strong ass offer. He soon after that he wanted to get rid of him. He was just biding his time until the NCAA ruled.
We're visiting with Glenn Guilbeau from Outkick.com. Hey, Glenn, I know LSU was a little nervous with basketball and football getting linked together, putting this under one umbrella. They dodged another bullet, LSU. They were very nervous about football being connected with basketball falling under the lack of institutional control umbrella, too. So that
they didn't get that.
Yep, they didn't get that.
It was feared that they might, and they didn't get a postseason ban. Of course, the football team already took one.
Yep.
I mean, they weren't going to a good bowl that year anyway. But no postseason ban for the basketball team.
Boy, Glenn, shifting gears to LSU baseball, what a fun week it's been. You don't want to lose on Monday and go into the losers bracket, but it's set up Tuesday night game, last night game, tonight game. It's unbelievable. It's just been a hell of a fun week for LSU baseball fans.
Yeah, and then they'll play Saturday night, and if they win, they'll play Saturday night and Sunday, and then there might be a game Monday if they split. It's like a major league team in the World Series. They're playing every night, and it's been amazing the way LSU suddenly found all these pitchers. It's like they got them from the transfer portal or something, because you have hardly seen them throughout the season.
No, and they're all performing at a pretty high level, and there's still pitching available, which is mind-blowing. Who's getting the start tonight? Has it been announced for LSU? Is Skeens going out there tonight?
Yeah, it's going to be that's another cool thing. It's going to be Paul Skeens versus Rhett Lauder the two aces who last pitched on Saturday. So they each got 4 days rest, which is, that's all the rest he's going to get in the major leagues. You get 4 or 5.
He's every
6 days rest.
He's gotten at least 5 all season, though, right? So this is a slight change, but not a big deal, right?
And at this point of the season, that they've built up their strengths. This is when you push them a little bit more, not early in the season like the Cubs did with Kerry Wood, if you remember, but late in the season is how you do it. And I think there's too much attention on the pitch counts. It's more the type pitches they throw and how they're doing and how they're feeling. And these two guys are both horses.
All right, I'm getting way ahead of myself, and we're going to go back to where I should be. But hypothetical, if they win, could Skeens pitch on 3 days rest and go Monday night if there was a game 3?
I don't think so.
This is the last we'll see of him in an LSU uni.
Well, no, I actually asked Jay Johnson this during the NCAA regional. He could come back in short relief on Monday night with 3 days rest to get a couple of outs, like in the 9th inning or the 8th inning.
Gotcha.
And I think the same thing with the Wake Forest starter. Skip used to mix and match his starters. He'd start a starter, he'd relieve with a starter. Roger Clemens came in short relief.
Has Skeens ever this season? Though Skeens has never pitched in relief.
No.
Right.
No,
that would just be awesome to see him pitch tonight and Monday night come in relief. That would be incredible.
Oh, yeah. Get the last out.
Are you kidding?
Get the last out.
That would be absolutely outrageous. So Skeens tonight, and then Wake Forest is pitching that guy who's almost as good, that long-haired cat, right?
Brett Lauder, yeah, he's 15-0.
Yep.
He leads the nation in wins. He's 5th in ERA. Skeens is 2nd in ERA. Skeens is 1st in strikeouts with 200. He's 3 away from the SEC record of breaking it. 202 held by Ben McDonald in 1989, and Ben's in Omaha doing the games.
It's hard to pick against LSU the way they've been playing. Wake Forest all of a sudden has to have a slight loss in confidence. What are you expecting in 35 minutes, Glenn?
Well, these are two great teams. They each have great offenses, and lately they both have great pitching, and Skeens is the best pitcher in the country. Really LSU's gotten this far with their offense really hasn't exploded. Their offense has done enough, but, Dylan Cruz had a late home run. Really, Trey Morgan is the only one who's hitting great. If Tommy White and Dylan Cruz can explode, I would think LSU would win.
Hey, Glenn, always a pleasure, man. Really appreciate you joining us on the program. Tell folks again about the book before we let you go.
Yeah, the Skip Bertman book, Everything Matters in Baseball. You can get it on Amazon.com right now or the AcadianBooks.com website. Or it's at the Barnes & Noble right there on Veterans Highway. It'll be a fun summer read for you.
Glenn, thanks so much, man. Enjoy tonight.
All right, thank you.
That's Glenn Guilbeau, Outkick.com, joining us on the program. Yeah, in about 33 minutes or so, about 6:06, 6:07 on ESPN, live from Omaha. LSU, 4th night in a row. And for the 2nd night in a row, taking on number 1 seed Wake Forest, 3rd time this week. LSU lost Monday night to Wake Forest. LSU beat Tennessee on Tuesday night, beat Wake Forest last night. Now it's an elimination game. The winner goes on to this weekend's championship round. Best 2 out of 3 versus Florida in the national title round, or best 2 out of 3. The loser goes home. The loser is done. It's down to 3 teams in Omaha. Florida, locked and loaded in the title game on their side of the bracket. LSU, Wake Forest, elimination game in a little over 30 minutes. Yeah, you right. Hey, local sports fans, if that wasn't enough, the NBA draft is tonight. The Pelicans select 14th overall if they stand pat. San Antonio. has the number 1 pick in the NBA draft. Boy, what an unbelievable day. Even with the federal consent decree, even with the federal monitor saying the Officer Vappie investigation was tainted from the beginning, from the get-go, not only has the mayor accepted PIB's flawed findings according to the consent decree, according to the federal monitor, but the mayor reinstated Officer Vappie to the NOPD. And if that's not enough, has reinstated Officer Vappie to her security team. I'm not making this up. Officer Vappie back on the executive security team. The mayor defends this move. How can the NOPD possibly get off of the consent decree when this overt, blatant violation has taken place and the mayor seems to just not care, is belligerent about it, saying, hey, federal monitor, not accepting what you think, accepting what the NOPD thinks, their own investigation into one of their own. We're not only reinstating him to my security detail. Wow. Had Raphael Goyeneche on last hour to discuss that. And he says he's rarely shocked, but was a little shocked by this. No, the mayor just doubles down on doubling down, and not in a good way. Not in a good way. It just doesn't stop. The junkets, the free meals, this kind of shenanigans. This mayor is just hell-bent. Got 2.5, 3 years left. I got to get as much juice out of this lemon as possible, as many junkets, as much free crap as I can get, because my 15 minutes is up soon, y'all. And after that, what the hell am I going to do? What am I going to do? Hey, Mayor, what are your plans for work and income after you're mayor? Oh, something will come up. Unlike some other mayors that can get a job, either with a local law firm, with politics nationally, another type of job locally or nationally. I don't see folks running to hire LaToya Cantrell, because here's the main deal. When people spend money, they expect something back for that investment, for that expenditure. And I don't know what the mayor would deliver. I mean, Sidney Bartholomew, he works for HRI. He works for Press Kabakoff. Press hired him specifically because Press was expanding outside of New Orleans and doing his historic restoration of old buildings in other cities. And he knew Sidney Bartholomew, smart, articulate, not hyper-political, kind of low-key, smooth demeanor, smooth operator, knows other cities' mayors, knows how city government works, knows how to. Sidney's been with HRI for 20 plus years. Do you think Press Kabakoff, a few decades later, keeping this guy on payroll if he wasn't delivering something of value? Mark Morial gets a gig with a local law firm. The name doesn't deliver a dime to the law firm. About a year in, they mutually agree to part ways. Urban League calls. He's in New York running the Urban League. He's been doing that for 20 years. Mitch Landrieu, political gig in the Biden administration. Ray Nagin goes to jail. No one wants to touch Ray Nagin. LaToya Cantrell, chance could go to jail, I think, under investigation by the feds for different things. I think that's pretty clear. Obviously, ethics, integrity, morals, not her strong suit. I just don't see someone that has to put up money. Anyone out there, we all are thinking of, how can I make money? I don't see there anyone out there going, boy, I hire LaToya Cantrell, I can convert this into money. Like the Urban League with Morial, like the Biden administration with Landrieu. I just don't get it. HRI, Sidney Bartholomew, You got to deliver something. Indirectly, directly, you got to deliver something. I don't think there's an entity out there going, boy, I got to hire LaToya Cantrell. She can enhance us. She's going to deliver. We're going to be better off with her. I just don't see it. She had the nonprofit gimmick going, but then after the pilfering of $1 million of Wisner Fund money and having the OIG investigated and that nonprofit having to give the money back, I don't know if that's a viable avenue or not for the mayor. With all of that said, at the very least, the free ride ends in 3 years. If I can't come up with a gimmick like a nonprofit, some kind of BS gig, it really ends. So she is taking advantage of. How else am I going to go to South Korea? I mean, if someone asks me, Corey, for the rest of your life, do you think you will go to South Korea? I would probably say no, without a doubt. Would I like to go to South Korea? Yes. I'd like to go to Tokyo, Japan. I don't know if I'll ever get there or not. Because there's other places that are ahead of those on the list. Money, time, priorities, all of that. But I'd love to go on these exotic visits. It'd be great if, tomorrow I walked in the studio and Jason said, dude, I got plane tickets, first class. We're going to fly to Amsterdam, do the show from there. I got all the equipment. What's the reason, Jason? Hey, man, it's all paid for, dude. Don't question it. It's a talk radio convention. They need you there. Can't be done on Zoom. No, that'd be great. Love to do the show from South Korea, from Amsterdam, from French Riviera. That'd be fantastic. South Africa, Cuba. Like a lifetime of conversations. Boy, those 2 terms of doing radio talk with Jason and him setting up all these trips every 2-3 months, exotic locales, all paid for. How could we pass that up? Hey, Katie's in Mid-City. How can you pass that up? Katie's is so good. Lunch, dinner, the quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant, a taste of New Orleans. Big portions, too. Great for sharing. Everybody loves Katie's in Mid-City. New Orleans specialties, old school. Plus a great pizza oven. Don't forget about Scott Craig's other place, Francesca Deli and Pizzeria in Lakeview. A real deli, 15 specialty deli sandwiches to choose from off the menu, or build your own sandwich. Pick the bread, the meat, the dressing, the cheese, the extras. I said it was a deli. Aren't too many of those in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria in Lakeview, and Katie's in Mid-City.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us steer you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center. It's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Hey everyone, it's Casey Kasem with another top 40 hit that's sweeping the nation. Because I'm Vappie. Because I'm Vappie, supposed to be patrolling the streets as a cop. Instead, I do it my way. Because I'm Vappie, hanging out at the Puntava apartment with Junket Cantrell all day. Because I'm Vappie, on the clock, not patrolling the streets. Instead, kicking back and still getting paid. Because I'm Vappie, waiting for the cable man, water plants and chilling, hey, because I'm Vappie on the city payroll, not working, because Montalva's such a nice place to stay, because I'm Vappie earning lots of money, because who wants to work when one can play, because I'm Vappie violent crime in the city, but hanging with the mayor, got nothing more to say, because I'm Vappie, because I'm Vappie, because I'm Vappie.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Even with the consent decree, even with the federal monitor saying the Vappie investigation by the NOPD was tainted from the beginning, Mayor LaToya Cantrell accepts the PIB's findings. That's the NOPD's internal investigators. Not only reinstates Officer Vappie, reinstates him to her personal security team again. Back on the executive security team. The mayor obviously defends this move. I kind of am starting to love the mayor in these moves because I personally think there is a federal investigation, the info, the knowledge that I have into this mayor. And I think because this mayor doesn't think things through and talks a lot, she's incriminating herself, you know, the last few months saying things she shouldn't be saying. I mean, if she was lawyered up already, a lawyer would be telling her to shut her mouth. Never bring this up. Never bring this up. Never talk about this topic. Avoid this. So personally, I think the feds are investigating this mayor on some different things. And sometimes that leads to other things. And I think the mayor has probably other things as well. So I think LaToya Cantrell right now has just this mentality of, I have to take advantage of every single thing possible. Because best case scenario, my 15 minutes are up when this term's up in 2.5 years. Worst case scenario, I might get popped by the feds and go to jail. I might get arrested. I might get indicted. So I think this mayor taking that Ray Nagin approach with like meals and different things. How can I get the city to reimburse me and all this? It's all city official business as mayor. And then the junkets even exceeding Ray Nagin. I've never seen a mayor, I've never seen a public official in the state of Louisiana travel like Mayor LaToya Cantrell travels. And it's not some like game plan where you can't even fake justify it. There's not a single job created, not a dollar brought into the city on any of these junkets. And the mayor knows it. But the mayor wants to take these junkets, this travel. It is kind of a once in a lifetime. It's like she won the lottery on travel. Crazy. Anyway, Vappie reinstated back on the mayor's executive security team. Wow. We had Raphael Goyeneche join us in the 4 o'clock hour to discuss that, break it down for us. Glenn Guilbeau joined us just a little while ago. The NCAA puts LSU football and basketball on 3 years probation, but most of the penalties that the NCAA would have put into play, LSU self-imposed. They put these penalties into play a few years ago. So there's really nothing. If you're an LSU football fan, it's kind of all in the rearview mirror now. Same with basketball. It's just official now. We also had Glenn talking a little bit about LSU. Fourth night in a row, LSU, first pitch about 15 minutes away. Less than 15 minutes. 6 o'clock ESPN. For the third time in 4 nights, they're taking on Wake Forest. It is an elimination game. The loser goes home. They're done. The winner goes to this weekend's championship round. A best 2 out of 3 for the national title versus Florida. The SEC's Gators are already locked in the championship round, the title game. Whoever wins tonight, they're in it with Florida. Obviously, LSU All-SEC is what we'd like to see. First pitch, 6 o'clock. Well, that's what it's slated. It's 6:06, 6:07. So 13 minutes away till LSU and Wake Forest do it on ESPN. Hey, the NBA draft is tonight. The Pelicans select 14th overall in tonight's NBA draft, unless they make a move, obviously. San Antonio, the number 1 overall pick. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday. Latrum's been with you since J.M. LePere invented the shrimp peeling machine in the late 40s, over 70 years ago. That led to the all-plastic modular conveyor belts. Hundreds of patents at Latrum, a worldwide manufacturing leader, born, bred, based out of New Orleans. And they just continue to grow, not only locally, not only around the region, the nation, around the world. And because they have such incredible growth, they are on like a continuous hiring spree. Dozens and dozens and dozens of jobs available at Latrum.com on their website. You East Bankers and West Bankers, they've got a job for you at their Elmwood facility under the UEP Long Bridge. You North Shore folks, Latrum has an I-12 facility for you. For a full listing of positions available, go to Latrum.com. Latrum spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M, Latrum.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
That's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Since 1896, a true taste of New Orleans. Leidenheimer French bread.
Hi, everyone. It's Tommy Wrong for AsbestosMoneyGrab.com. This is not, I repeat, not for folks with real asbestos problems. But if you're like me and were maybe taking a shop class in high school where you maybe breathed in some brake dust and you know for certain you're fine, but you're the type of person that takes advantage of these types of situations, get tested, lawyer up, and steal some money like me. Go to I'm not really hurt at all, but like exploiting the system for free cash.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrum family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrum company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrum.com. That's Latram.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe. Whenever my friends that have left New Orleans come back in town, it's always, I want to get some gumbo, I want to get a good po' boy. You know that po' boy, if it's a good one, it's on Leidenheimer French bread. Just how it is. Great New Orleans po' boys, authentic New Orleans po' boys are on Leidenheimer French bread. Makes sense. Leidenheimer's been doing it for over 125 years, and they're still baking that bread right here in the city of New Orleans. It's served in the city's finest restaurants. It's good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread. Leidenheimer Baking Company since 1896. Wow. Corey Johnson with you. Want to thank Ghassan Korban for joining us. Sewage and Water Board, the power plant construction will continue, scaling back a little bit because of the Louisiana legislature's ignorance. Also want to thank Raphael Goyeneche joining us, talking about Vappie's reinstatement to the mayor's executive team. Glenn Guilbeau talking LSU. By the way, the Tigers, Wake Forest, first pitch, 7 minutes away on ESPN. See you mañana.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend.
Cycling time.